Hey, welcome back to Cactus Wrestling. Which college team won this off season? We're going to break it down into three categories here for you as the 23-24 NCAA wrestling season is just around the corner, less than 2 months away. We want to dive in and see which team is making the biggest jump from last year to this year. But before we get started, take a second to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Share a video, do whatever you need to do. If you're a fan of wrestling, spread the news, spread the love. We'd love to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of 2023, and every like goes a long way. Okay, so let's get right into the video here. I mentioned there's basically three different categories. We were talking offline about this and how we're going to break this down. Number one is recruiting classes. So which team has the best recruiting classes coming into the upcoming season? Obviously, this is all done way a long time ago. Typically, recruiting happens in the off season. So that's one. Number two, there's been a lot of coaching shakeups. So which teams have benefited the most and which teams are hurting from all the coaching shakeups? Last one is the transfer portal. A lot of guys have transferred to different schools this year. We're going to talk about them all, and then we're going to use these three factors to determine which team has won the offseason. So let's start off with number one, recruiting classes. If you haven't seen it already, we made a YouTube short a little bit a while ago. We'll try and put the link to that right here. But surprisingly or not, Oklahoma State it was the number one recruiting class for this upcoming 2023 season.
Didn't
Oklahoma
they
State.
have like five top 100 recruits or something?
They have Braden Thompson, Christian Carroll, Cale Hughes are three top 10 names that,
Oh, so they got three of the top 10.
three of the top 10, yeah,
That's pretty good.
for Oklahoma State. But I remember Christian Carroll at I want to say U20s maybe. He didn't do
You think
too
so?
well.
Well, yeah. I think
I don't
that's
know. That's freestyle. It's kind of hard to compare these things, but usually they're a pretty good indicator of things to come. Um, so Oklahoma State, number one. Michigan was number two. They also had a pretty deep weight class. Bo Mantanona is one of the top recruits there. Sergio Lenley, Dylan Gilcher. I don't know if any of these guys are going to see the lineup. Probably not, given the transfer portal coming to Michigan.
yeah, that's true.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that. Penn State was number five in this recruiting class. Um,
I guess they can't be number one every time.
Yeah, they can't. Yeah, but really, they only had two guys: Josh Barr and Tyler Kazak. Um, Cornell was number four, and it's going to be interesting with Meyer Shapiro, who's the number one recruit. Um, he could very well be a title contender this year at 157.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, and he just won a what, 20 world title?
Right, and
Yeah,
I don't
huge
know.
for
It's not
him.
confirmed if he's going to go 157 or 149.
Either way, I think he's a title contender.
Well, both of those weight classes has really opened up. I mean, if you think about it, Yanni's gone at 149. Sammy Sasso's not going to wrestle this year. You have Levi Haynes is the national runner up at 57 with also Austin O'Connor gone.
Yeah.
I mean, Gino
Ridge Lovett's
Stranda,
back in the mix at 49, though.
Ridge Lovett, yeah, he's probably number one ranked guy right now. Um, but I mean, a guy like Shapiro, I don't know. We could definitely see him making so that's some points on the board for Cornell. They had the number four recruiting class, and number three was Iowa. So uh, Gabe
I mean, it's all the
Arnold,
usual suspects in the top five.
yeah, Gabe Arnold, Ben Cuter, however you pronounce his
Peter, I
name.
think it is.
And these guys are going to be really important for Iowa amidst the whole scandal, gambling scandal.
Yeah, once that gets all sorted out and all said and done, I mean, oh
I
boy.
mean, I think you had sent something to us about Cater, Cuter.
Oh yeah, no, like there's like a football coach that is speculating that like, oh yeah, Keeter's gonna need to gain some weight because he's gonna end up probably being in the lineup because Cassiope's probably not gonna be. So, or at least they're preparing as if that is gonna be the reality just in case.
I don't know. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. So,
It'd be fun to see.
Oklahoma State, Michigan, Iowa, Cornell, and Penn State are kind of leading the charge for the recruiting classes. But let's get to the coaching changes. So this really, really stemmed all at Oklahoma State.
Well, actually, it stemmed from James Green.
How so?
James Green left the National Freestyle Development Coaching position, which is the job that Zach Esposito left Oklahoma State to take. That brought Coleman Scott to Oklahoma State.
Brought Coleman Scott to Oklahoma State, which sent Rob Cole from Stanford to UNC,
Yep.
which then saw Chris Ayers from
Yep.
Princeton to Stanford, leaving an open vacancy at Princeton
Yeah.
currently.
Still taken as of today, at least. They haven't made an announcement.
I think Joe Dubuque is the head associate coach at Princeton, and they're saying that it's his if he wants it potentially. So people
Oh, I
think
see.
it might go to him, but
But I mean, what's crazy is Chris Ayers has been at Princeton for 18 years and he left for Stanford. And Esposito's been with Oklahoma State for nearly, I think, 20 years. And he left. I mean, granted, it's going from college scene to the freestyle development. So like that is a little different. But like that's two guys that were like basically huge chunk of time at the wherever they were coaching up and left. And James Green is an assistant coach at Nebraska. So what started this domino effect was all because James Green comes out of retirement, joins the the Nebraska coaching staff, and sets all of this craziness in motion.
it's funny too because Chris Ayers' daughter is on the wrestling team or wrestles for Princeton.
Yep. Oh
So
yeah.
I don't know, maybe she'll transfer.
Probably not. Why would she transfer out of
Well,
Princeton? Like,
Stanford's, I mean, pretty much same caliber school as Princeton.
yeah, but I don't know. If I was at Princeton, I doubt I'd be transferring.
Yeah, that's good. And then before Rob Cole went to Stanford, he was at Cornell for forever. So
Yeah, he was there for like over 20 years.
yeah,
Well, I mean, Stanford did get a gain from Rob Cole though, being there because apparently he got them up to 9.9 scholarships, and Stanford's going to be joining the ACC. So like Stanford's in pretty good shape, especially now that they have a clearly, seasoned coach who has coached two guys to national finals in the past couple of years, the first ever for that program, like or not ever, but ever in this, almost century, like over 70 something years. Um, so like I think Stanford's going to be okay.
yeah, I do too. It's interesting because we were just talking about recruiting classes and how Oklahoma State was number one, and you got to think John Smith was the primary factor for getting those guys in, with him pretty much retiring or all but confirmed
Everyone's
retiring.
speculating, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and Coleman Scott kind of going to be the successor. I wonder how those guys are going to fare under his kind of taking over
Uh,
the program.
well, I mean, Smith is going to still be around, so they still got him at very least for this coming season. So they got Smith and Scott. Like maybe they're going to be the dynamic duo. Who
I mean, I
knows?
do think it was time. I think like Oklahoma State has really been kind of
Sliding, yeah.
sliding. Like AJ Ferrari was their last national champ, but I mean, this is like a perennial top five team, and they just haven't. I don't even think they've been in the top 10 in the past few years.
Yeah, they've really not been a factor. Like they used to be like like recently Penn State, Iowa, Michigan, and Ohio State have all been like, those always make the top five, it seems. Oklahoma State used to be in that mix to get a national title, and lately it's like they're not even in the conversation for a title, let alone even like getting top five. Like it's sad to see them slide like this, but it happens.
So there was one other coaching change that we haven't talked about yet. Roger Kish going to Oklahoma from North Dakota State, and Kish, he really brought that program to
Yeah,
relevancy
from nowhere.
from nowhere. I mean, obviously he lost Jared Franek, and well, not he left the team, and then Jared
Yeah,
Franek and Mikey Caliendo transferred to Iowa.
those two
Um,
probably wouldn't have transferred had he not left.
I thought they were gonna go when they entered the transfer portal. I thought they were gonna follow him to Oklahoma.
Could you imagine? That would have been amazing for Oklahoma, especially with the other transfer they already got that
Yeah,
you'd mentioned.
Buchanan.
Yeah, like that would have been Oklahoma would have been like, whoa, they're actually going to be really good.
I do think that they're going to be on the rise because Oklahoma really, I mean, we're talking about Oklahoma State not really living it up. I mean, how about Oklahoma? Like, when's the last time they've had really anyone? Um,
Jacob Woodley.
Cody Brewer, right? He won a national championship
He
like
won a title, and then I
10
think didn't
years ago or
Woodley make the
something.
finals?
I think he won. Maybe
Woodley?
no. Brewer.
Yeah, yeah, Brewer, yeah. But I was saying I think Woodley made the finals.
Yeah, I don't think he won.
Yeah.
Yeah. So which school do you think benefited the most out of these coaching changes? I got to think Oklahoma probably that's a big step
Yeah, I mean
with
Oklahoma
Kish.
has got some good, yeah. I mean, Stanford, I don't think it's like they just upgraded. Like, I mean, I feel like that was almost kind of like a lateral, like not lateral. I mean, because Cole at Cornell was better than Ayers has ever been at Princeton, but
I think it was a little bit of a downgrade, but he's still like one of the
yeah,
best.
like it's kind of almost a lateral move, like maybe slightly down, but um considering the coaches changes they've had in the past 2 years. I mean, so I wouldn't say Stanford won it. Um Oklahoma State, I mean, they just got a head coach as an associate head coach. So like now they got John Smith and Coleman Scott, who was UNC's head coach. So like that's a pretty good win for them. Cole to UNC. I mean, UNC is probably going to benefit quite a bit from that.
I'm excited to see where Cole takes UNC, it being his alma mater, and it's really been kind of a two-headed race in the ACC with NC State versus Virginia Tech.
Oh
So I
yeah,
feel like UNC has even dipped below Pitt in recent years. So I would
yeah.
love to see them kind of get
Well,
back up.
plus Stanford's joining the conference.
That's true. Yeah. So that's going to be a good conference moving forward.
Yeah,
What about
that's.
Obi Blanc to North Dakota State?
Oh right, I
We didn't
forgot
talk
about
about
that.
that, but
He didn't he hire Hayden Hidlay as his assistant?
he did. Yeah. Hayden. Yeah. He's going to be the assistant at North Dakota State. I think that's got to be a downgrade.
It's a major downgrade. I mean,
Obi
no
Blanc
offense
was
to
never a
Obi
head
Blank,
coach.
but I don't think North Dakota State is going to be doing as well as they have been in the past several years, especially since they just lost their two superstars. Honestly, I'm kind of torn between what team won the coaching.
I feel like what
No.
Cole's been able to do in terms of like revamping a program, recruit
Yeah,
like he had guys who were gonna come to Cornell and then they followed him out to Stanford instead.
yeah,
And I feel
that's
like his
true.
ability to do that, I mean, he's gonna bring that program up,
Yeah, that's
in my
going to be a
opinion.
major upgrade. I mean, yeah, they just had Austin O'Connor win the two titles in 3 years, but yeah, they might start. I mean, I feel like he's the reason Cornell's the machine it is now.
Yeah.
And I mean, and Mike Gray has been able to take over without, sabotaging the machine. So good for him. But yeah, I think UNC is going to see the biggest upgrades. I mean, Coleman Scott, I feel like is going to be a kind of a question mark. Like, hopefully, it'll improve Oklahoma State, especially with that recruiting class. But I feel like the most immediate impact will probably be Rob Cole.
Yeah. So, and let us know in the comments down below, who do you think is winning so far? But as we get into the third category here, the transfer portal, because obviously this is kind of like the free agency as what it's become for college wrestling, and this is probably where the biggest impact is going to come, at least short term.
Yeah.
I mean, you take Michigan for example. Four
Uh,
of their projected starters are from the transfer portal. They
isn't
were
it?
not on this team last year.
Isn't it four of them?
Yeah, four of them.
Yeah, four of them. Yeah.
You got Michael D'Agostino, who didn't All American last year, but he is an All American.
And he was ranked top five for like the entire season.
Right. Chris Cannon, who didn't All American last year, but is an All American.
Yep.
Shane Griffith, who took fifth last year,
Took fifth last year, second the year before, and first the year before that.
and then Lucas Davison, who also All Americans at heavyweight.
I think he's taken like fifth, seventh, maybe fourth.
Yeah. So that's four guys. On top of that, Cam Amin, obviously, still in the lineup.
So yeah, that's five people that have All American. That's half a lineup that have All American potential or better. Potentially national champ if you think Shane Griffith could knock off Starochi.
That's going to be interesting.
Yeah. I can't
So,
wait to see that matchup.
yeah,
I hope it's like Evan Wick. I hope Griffith loses every match until NCAAs and then he beats him at NCAAs.
not even in the final, in the semifinals, so that
Yeah, right.
Strachey takes third.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, it's also going to be interesting with guys potentially taking the Olympic red shirt year. We've
Well,
only really heard one guy
yeah.
so far, Andrew Alirez.
Yeah, he made the whole announcement and everything.
Yeah, so there's bound to be guys like I can't imagine Vito after winning a world title isn't going to take an Olympic red shirt.
I wouldn't count on it. He just won a national title and then came and won worlds. He didn't take, a red shirt for that. I, I wouldn't be surprised to see Vito just be like, "Yes, let's run it back, NCAAs, and then okay, let's do this Olympic style." But
That's the real trifecta.
yeah,
NCAA title, world title, Olympic title. Boom.
back to
Um,
back to back.
in terms of transfer portal, Penn State, got to talk about them. Bernie Truax, Aaron Nagao, two returning All Americans, and Mitchell Messenbrink, who is a question mark on if he's going to be in the lineup or not at
Well, yeah,
165
he
or
might be one of the
157.
Olympic redshirters.
Yeah, he could be a redshirter, but at least for immediate impact, Bernie Truax, uh, he's taken fourth three times. And Aaron Nagao, it's funny because he was the guy that was given RBY fits, and now he's like his successor.
Yeah, yeah.
So those are two plug-in guys for Penn State.
Yeah, and they're gonna there's no reason either one of them does an All American. Like Nagao was on the cusp of beating RBY, and Truax is never not All American. So
He's going to take
that's
fourth for the fourth straight year. I'm
yeah,
manifesting it.
yeah. His favorite number is four.
Um, in terms of transfers, Iowa gains, as we mentioned, Mikey Caliendo and Jared Franek.
Yeah.
So, and Victor Voinovich from Oklahoma
Oh
State.
yeah, Bornovich. Yeah.
So those are three lineup guys that will be in for Iowa um, this year, two of which All American last year. And Oklahoma State has Sammy Alvarez.
And Oklahoma State's got Sammy Alvarez from Rutgers. Yeah.
I feel like Oklahoma State was winning this race with the coaching, with the recruiting class, but transfer portal.
They lost Voinovich. They gained Alvarez. Yeah, no, they lost. They just lost Whitlake,
Oh yeah,
returning
Travis.
All American.
Yep.
They just lost Whitlake. He's going to friggin' Oregon.
Oregon State. Yeah.
Yeah. Oklahoma State is far from winning the transfer portal. If they got what Michigan got, it would be Oklahoma State is going to be, very relevant to winning a title or being in the mix. But no, they are far from the transfer portal kings here. I mean, I'd say it seems like Minnesota is a perennial loser to the transfer portal. Anyone that they have is good or does halfway decent NCAA qualifier or anything leaves. Like,
Yeah, McGow, that was a big hit.
well, and then they also lost Brayton Lee.
That's right. Yep.
I
Creighton Lee
mean, the
just
guy
left.
was ranked number one, and then he kind of got hurt, and he didn't have a great season last year. Got hurt a couple times, and he's now going to Indiana. I guess he's from Indiana, so like, okay, I guess that makes a little bit of sense. But like, I don't know. Minnesota just never seems to be able to retain any of the talent that they get.
Yeah, it's that's a big puzzle. I don't know what they're doing over there. But
Yeah.
who do you guys think has won the off season? I mean, we got to kind of come to a consensus.
So I don't think it's Penn State won the offseason. I'd say they're probably top five, but I don't think that they won it. Michigan, I feel like they won the transfer portal,
Definitely.
but their coaching hasn't changed. So, I mean, that is a win in itself, I guess. But then recruiting class, I mean, they weren't one of the top five recruiting classes, were they?
Michigan was number two.
Oh, Michigan. Oh, so Michigan. Okay, so Michigan. I feel like it's probably between Michigan and Oklahoma State
Yeah,
because Michigan got the transfer portal. Michigan got a solid recruiting class, and they still have Bourmet. Oklahoma State got the solid recruiting class, and they got a good coach. They just didn't really get much with the portal.
it's tough to give Iowa the award given that they lost out or they'll probably lose out to the scandal.
Oh yeah.
Otherwise, they could be in this mix. Not
I
really any
mean, they got
coaching
a solid
changes.
recruiting class. The coaches stayed the same, and they got a couple decent I mean, I'd pick Michigan or Oklahoma State over Iowa. I feel like Iowa would maybe be the third.
Maybe Penn
I think
State.
Michigan. I honestly, I think Michigan. I mean,
Yeah,
Bourmet has been doing really well with that team there for the past several years. They've been just. I mean, they got the Hodge Trophy winner last year.
it's true.
Um, I mean, Cam Amin, he tends to beat people that I feel like he shouldn't be beating come NCAAs. So like I feel like they peak their guys pretty well.
And Michigan alumni Stefan Michik just won a world title.
Yeah, that's true. Stevan Micic,
Oh, there
Michigan.
you go. There you go. It's not even like a category, but Michigan represent for world title.
Well, yeah, because Michigan also had Miles. I mean, bronze medal at 86 kilograms. So
Yeah,
like,
but if we're basing it off of that, I mean, Penn State had two golds, David
oh
Taylor and Zane Rutherford.
yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, but they also had a dud in Nick Lee. So
I
um,
agree with you. I think Michigan is probably the team that is going to make the biggest jumps next year,
yeah,
even
because I mean
though
they
they
got
performed well last year at the
yeah.
NCAA tournament. I feel like they've really reloaded well. They got a great recruiting class.
Yeah, they reloaded without actually like the bullets just came to them. Like it's not like, oh yeah, we had this backup who's really good. He's like Anthony Cassar on the bench. Now he's gonna get his chance to start. No, they just transferred to the team.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say Michigan probably has won the offseason. I think they've done the most with everything that's been presented.
Well, we want to hear what you think. Drop a comment down below. Which team do you think won the offseason? Is there a team that we are sleeping on? Maybe UNC with Rob Cole. I don't know. Maybe someone else. What do you think?
Binghamton.
Yeah, Binghamton. They're looking for a coach. Um, who knows? We got Billy Baldwin in the
Sacred
coaching booth.
Heart. Hofstra.
Yeah, who
The
knows?
Citadel. You never
Yeah,
know.
there's 80 something teams. Just pick one. Um, drop it in the comments down below and make sure you hit this like button and subscribe to the channel. And thanks for watching Cactus Wrestling.
Thanks for watching. We are Cactus Wrestling, and we'll see you next time on our next video.